Hello there, just cleaning my glasses so I can see you. That would help a lot. And then we can see who's here today. Thank you for joining me, whether you're joining me live or in the replay. And if you're joining me in the replay, don't forget to say hello in the comments, and then I can personally say hello to you as well. So thank you for being here. And let's start straight away looking at what's coming up on today's live. So, of course, we've got my craft update. That's coming along fast. I've done quite a bit this week because when you get to a certain point in your craft, you just want to get it finished so you could start thinking about your next craft. There's still a long way to go. It looks like there's not much more. But last episode, I showed you how much thread is left in the kit, and there's still quite a lot there. But I'll show you that in a minute. Also, catch up on what I'm reading. There's a bit of that. We have Q&A. We have a new game today, and someone watching will know exactly what that game is going to be today, a new game. We'll talk about that when we get there. We've got, of course, my puzzle piece where I give you a puzzle and see if you can answer it before I tell you the answer. And, of course, jokes. We have some jokes today, some updates, and, of course, quote corner. But first, let's go and see who's in the chat today. I see we have lots working. We have lots watching today. And in the comments, we already have Steve and Tina Jewel. Thank you so much for being here. Really is appreciated. And, guys, don't forget to go and check out their channel and see their dog while you're there. So let's start today. Think Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? Yes, it's Wednesday. Okay, so let's start with this. So a few little quick bits and pieces, and something that happened to me today. You know, I get all these little odd quirks on my computer and things. I always let you know what's going on. YouTube's having issues at the moment again itself because it's updating and putting in new programs. There's lots of new stuff going to be coming up soon in YouTube. So if you've got any problems there, particularly loading your videos, which I had trouble posting one of mine, it didn't go on to it did the first bit of the posting, but it didn't do the processing, the second bit. It just didn't start. And they contacted me and they said, yeah, they're having issues. So any of you who say it takes hours to load or there's issues with it, they are changing systems. And that's all I can tell you for now. So, yeah, it's something everyone's experiencing on and off. But something funny that did occur was on my phone. You can put your own little keyboard in. Now, I have to have a Greek keyboard because I use that as much as I use an English keyboard. So I've uploaded my own one, and it's been great. I've made it all pretty and got really nice, what do you call it, when you make your own theme and whatever on your keyboard. And that's been going pretty great. Obviously, with my issues of perspective, I often type wrong letters in the wrong place. So I've learnt to type slightly to the one direction to where the letters actually are. So I have to visualize a keyboard in my head and then type not where the real letters are, but that's another story. Anyway, the keyboard, I don't know why. I'm thinking now it needed updating. You know, you get notification of your apps need upgrading, and I never do them. I never do. You often have problems after you've done that, so I never do. Could have been because that needed doing and I didn't do it. But suddenly I went on it and the whole keyboard, like the QWERTY keyboard, I only had half of it. And then one of those letters was missing. You, on my one, you got the middle row is A, S, D. Well, there was a space where the S should have been, but it was blank. There was nothing there. So I thought, oh, they've shifted. But no, there was no letter S. It didn't exist. And then at the end of that row is normally letter L, and letter L was like off the keyboard. But if you pressed off the keyboard, you could get the letter L. But then when you press the button to go on to like question marks, exclamation marks, all those things, that only had half the screen. So there was many things you couldn't use. And when I went on numbers, it switched almost like a calculator setup rather than should be like the QWERTY keyboard. And because of that, it had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and nothing else. Anyway, so I can't remember what I was doing at the time that I needed the keyboard on my phone. And I couldn't respond to it, whatever it was. I can't remember what it was. Was it a message? No, it was something important I was doing on there. And then a message came up. It says, you haven't responded. And this is all written in English. You haven't responded. Is it possible that you can't read this because English isn't your language? So if you can't read this message, then just go in and change the language of the keyboard to your language. Now, if you could read all that, it's saying if you can't read this, what you have to do, and then go and change your language. So how could you have read that? It's like sometimes if your keyboard goes down, like your laptop or your computer goes down, you can't find out how to fix it because you don't need the information on your laptop to go in and recover what you need to do. So that was quite funny. I thought that was quite funny. Another little peeve of the week. Tell me if it's happening in your country, but because people these days are very lazy and don't put things in bins, they have now made it law that plastic drink bottles and juice bottles, anything where it has a plastic screw-on lid, you know, like Pepsi and Coke, bottles of fizzy drink, any of those bottles now, the lid can unscrew and flip off, but it doesn't come off. It's kind of got a little bit still attached. And it's law here, tell me if it is for you or if it will be, that they cannot be separated, which is great if you can use two hands and just hold the lid away when you're pouring. So people like me, and as I said last week, the world is not set up for disabled people of any kind. You might see an odd thing, oh, this is wheelchair access and this has got braille, but that's a few basic things to make it look like they really care. There is nothing new that is brought out where they actually have a panel or people from disabled communities saying if these things work or how they affect their lives. So that's my little peeve on that, the bottle lids. Oh, let's do another peeve and then we'll get on with what we're doing today. The other peeve is, as you know, my cat died, and I still went on my live times, but I just played you footage as a tribute. So that week my lives still existed, but they were videos of my cat as a tribute. And because of that, they weren't just over an hour. My YouTube income is non-existent now. That is the only difference. I've got far more subscribers, far more views. So that's everything is increased. That is the only difference that occurred. And because of that, I'm now getting just under €8 a month. And it's going down daily. So probably when you watch this back later, if any of you watch it back later, it'll probably be down to €5 a month. And as you know, I don't get paid unless I get €70 a month, and then I get paid over that. So it's non-existent now. It's worse than when I was first monetarised. So I think I'm going to be paid, if I'm lucky, every 2 years now. So it's lucky it doesn't bother me. I just feel if it's there, of course I'm going to need it and want it. I'm not one of these who just does things for the money, but I thought that was pretty scandalous, really. Anyway, let's go and have a look at the chat. So Stephen Tina say, oh, never heard of that. They screwed us. We're not getting anything. It may come. It's like I told people a year ahead of all this, no more plastics. And that started off with plastic bags, carrier bags in shops. And people like, no, they won't ever stop that. And then I came on, I think, a couple of years later, and you can't have in the EU, you cannot have things now made of plastic. There's a different sort of plastic. It's not really plastic. So if you still see things, and I was the person who let you all know the EU regulations were coming in, no more takeaway plastic knife, forks, spoons, no more plastic straws. And actually on that live, I had some comments, people saying, no, you're talking rubbish. We've never heard of such nonsense. Hello. As I always say, I only speak fact and knowledge first hand. I'm not one of these who hears it somewhere else or on another YouTube channel or something like that. I tell you first hand facts. A lot of countries, I'm talking about the EU, a lot of countries were told they had to do it by certain dates, and they can keep paying out of your tax money to keep pushing that date further along. So if it's not in, I'm talking about EU countries, if it's not in your country in the EU yet, be aware your tax is paying to keep pushing it back. Cyprus pushed it back, I think it was a year, and that was because we're such a small country, we weren't allowed to import any plastic items anymore either. And being such a small country, that means we need to make things ourselves and find other solutions and so on and so forth. So we had to push it back a year, but yeah, nothing plastic here now. And as I say, if you see plastic Coke bottles or whatever, if you look, they're not plastic as you know them, like the water bottles. Somebody said when I do my gardening in the great big water bottles, oh, the sun will get through those. Well, firstly, they're water bottles that you have in like offices on the water machines. They don't let the sun penetrate them, obviously, or you'd have like hot water and it will go off. And also they're not plastic per se, so it doesn't affect. They have a coating to stop the sun. Stephen, Tina, Jules say have to wait until September to see if we can get income again. Yes, I wish you luck with that. Wish you luck. And guys, do go over and congratulate Stephen, Tina, Jules for reaching their 5k. If you haven't already been over there, then go over there. Oh, who was my other channel that's just got a high K? They've just reached, oh, I can't remember. If it's you, remind me in the comments under this live, because then I can congratulate you on a live. Okay, so that's I think that's all my little chats. Yes, that is. So let's go over to Wednesday's Quote Corner. Steve saw his doctor yesterday. I was going to ask you, I had remembered, then I thought, oh, should I not ask you live just in case? Steve saw the doctor yesterday and he says my quad tendon got detached. That is actually a very terrible injury, my friend. And when you think you're recovered, give it at least another month. Seriously, it's one of those things that when it's a very long process, but once you think you're recovered, don't push it, and not even don't push it, still act like you've got the injury. So are you having surgery, Steve? Some people can get away with not. It depends if it's completely detached or if it's just come away, but normally that is surgery, and that is quite a bad. It's always the simplest of accidents create the worst injuries. And Steve said it was just getting off the boat. When he got off the boat, yes. Oh, let me know when that is, Steve. Do let me know. Okay, so let's go on to this. Okay, this is a little bit complicated. What word, apart from the word dying, can you write dying without dying? It's got to have dying in it, so it's not like alive, for example. So basically, what word can you write dying without it dying, without dying? So basically, add some letters to dying to create another word. That's basically what we're talking about. So what word can you write dying, D-Y-I-N-G, and add to it wherever you like, the beginning, at the end. So what word can you write dying but not be dying? So you add some letters to it, so it still says dying, but you've added to that word. Does that make more sense? Steve's waiting for a date. Steve's waiting for a date. Okay, let's have a look at this. Ooh, I've done a lot. I've done a lot. You can tell what it is now, anyone who hasn't been guessing so far. But it's now bigger. I'm not going to finally say what it is till I've finished it, but I'm sure you can see now what it is. But before, when we just had this bit, I'm sure people thought that and this bit was basically it. Just this bit and this bit. It did look, let's cover up the new bit. There. So that did look like almost it, didn't it? But as you can see, there is more to it. So yes, I've done all this top bit and side bit. Again, as I always say, when I was sewing it, I just have to do a square and a colour and a colour, and it looks nothing. I haven't finished this bit yet. There's a lot more to go further up. But I have done a lot, as you can probably tell. And the black and the dark brown is so hard to see. It is so hard to do. It really is. And I do it in full natural light. But yeah, it's coming along. There's more down the bottom. There's a lot more this side, a lot more this side. There's more this side, and obviously the middle circle. There's more at the top. So there is still quite a lot to do. Oh, there's quite a bit more over this side actually, and there's quite a bit down the bottom to do yet. There's a bit down the bottom that's all one colour, one part of it at the very bottom. I think that's going to be a bit difficult because it's very dark. But yeah, there's a lot to do over this side. That's going to take some time. But yeah, but very pretty. As I say, this is one I had and I'm like, oh, shall I do this one? But I'm pleased I've done it. So pretty, very pretty, very intricate. And that's how that is coming on. I'm quite pleased with that. I'm already starting to think of my next project. I'm going to go back to embroidery, do my second ever embroidery, but I will probably start that and then do another cross stitch at the same time because progress of embroidery is slow. I don't know. I will see. Very beautiful. Thank you. And did you like this as well? Oh, dear, dear, dear. Dear, dear, dear. Yes. So, waiting for answers for the puzzle piece. Basically, write the word dying, D-Y-I-N-G, add something to it to create another word. Can you come up with another word? I'll put dying here, D-Y-I-N-G. So add to that before or after to make another word. That's basically the puzzle. So what can you add? Well, obviously it's going to be added to the beginning. Add something else, letters, not another word. Add letters to the beginning to create another word. So, okay, that's craft update done. Let's have a look at this. So I haven't read much because my spare time has been spent on the cross stitch, obviously. I've just moved my headband and now I've got hairs all sticking up. Lovely job. Okay, so I haven't read that much. I just read a little bit here, a little bit more while I was waiting for my live. I set my live up and then if I've got 10 minutes, I either do a bit of studying or I pick up the book and read a bit more. So I read a bit more of that. I said to Mike, I'm sure we've seen this on TV because it's, what's his name? Dalgleish, Alan Dalgleish is a detective, and we've seen quite a lot of Adam Dalgleish as a detective. And I read him the back of the book. He's like, yeah, we've seen that. Do you remember it's about a door? And I was like, oh, yeah, I remember it's about a door. I can't remember quite how it goes, but I'm going to persevere and read it. It won't be a keeper. But, yes, I give my review. Yes, it's good. There's a whole family of, they're all males and brothers and I think the father and whatever. So, obviously, I've got to get all those in my head, who's who. It's okay. It's a story. I would say it's like a quick summer read. I know it's a thick book, but that kind of throwaway book, you know, for me. Nothing overexciting. It's just a murder mystery, like a Miss Marple type thing, you know. It's just another one of those type of murder mysteries. Tons of people, all could have done it. Who did it? I think really exciting there. So I enjoy those more watching them on TV than as a book because they're quicker. That's one time maybe I would rather watch something adapted on TV than I would to read the book. So no news here on that. Oh dear. Okay, let's move on and let's have a bit of this. So on the front of my book of jokes I collect, I've actually stuck some cartoons I wanted to keep, and I've stuck some inside, and I've stuck some on the back. Basically, I'm still in my declutter and sort, and this is why I write jokes and funny things and quotes down. Mike was sorting out, and he found all those cartoons, so I stuck those in because he wanted to keep them. I said, well, let me stick them in my joke book. And it's like, oh, okay then. So there we go. So I'll read you one on the front here. And the man's saying to the wife, Mary, the dog's in the bed. And she says, why isn't the bedroom door locked? And the husband said, there's no reason. He's alone in there. Oh dear. So that's quite a funny one. What else? Oh, let's see if I can read you any of Mike's ones. Where did I stick those? Here. One's rude, so I can't really read that one. That's rude. That's rude. That's rude. Not terribly rude, but I don't want to offend anyone. No. None of those. Can see why he kept them. Okay, let's go back to Dawn's world. Let's see. This one is a long joke. A lawyer met a married woman who had previously divorced 10 husbands. On their wedding night, she told her new husband, please be gentle, I'm still a virgin. What? Said the puzzled groom. How can that be if you've been married 10 times? Well, husband 1 was a sales representative. He kept telling me how great it was going to be. Husband 2 was in software services. He was never really sure how it was supposed to function, but he said he'd look into it and get back to me. Husband 3 was from field services. He said everything checked out diagnostically, but he just couldn't get the system up. Husband 4 was in telemarketing. Even though he knew he had the order, he didn't know when he would be able to deliver. Husband 5 was an engineer. He understood the basic process, but wanted 3 years to research, implement, and design a new state-of-the-art method. Husband 6 was from finance and administration. He thought he knew how, but he wasn't sure whether it was his job or not. Husband 7 was in marketing. Although he had a nice product, he was never sure how to position it. Husband 8 was a psychologist. All he ever did was talk about it. Husband 9 was a gynecologist, so all he did was looked at it. Husband 10 was a stamp collector. All he ever did was, ooh, I miss him. But now that I've married you, I'm really excited. Good, said the new husband, but why? You're a lawyer. This time I know I'm going to get screwed. Oh dear. Laugh out loud. I was like, who's that just come in the chat? Different logo. Then I looked, it's me when I put the quiz in, the puzzle today, which is the word dying, D-Y-I-N-G, and then add letters to the beginning. What other word can you make? Can you make another word by adding some letters to the beginning of the word dying, D-Y-I-N-G? And I've got videos about it on my other channel recently. So if you've been watching my other channel, you'll be able to work out the word. If not, go and have a quick look there. Okay, what should we do now? Let's do a bit of this. Wherever it is. Here it is. Q&A time. What's the question today? I want a pencil so I can tick it off that I've done it. What were your best and your worst subjects at school. Ooh. Ooh. Tell me your answers. What were your best and your worst subjects at school? Ooh, we've got an answer from Steve, and he's saying tidying. That is correct, but it's not the answer I've got. So you are correct. So we'll give you an applause. See if you can come up with more answers for that. So well done, Steve. You've got an answer. See if you can get my answer, but you are correct. Well done to you. Excellent. I've just made my viewing myself is suddenly jumped over there and went, whoa. That was exciting. I will have to film another behind the scenes video soon of my lives. I did one before. I think I've done twice actually. No, one was what I do just before a live, and then one I did what I'm doing, particularly why those interludes are going on. Okay, so we were doing what was your best and worst subjects at school. Do you not agree? It could depend a lot on the teacher. If you had a good teacher, you probably did well. If you had a bad teacher, possibly not. Stephen, Tina, Jules say not good at school, maths okay, and art. What was I good at school? Oh, I've told before how I think it was the 4th year of high school. We call that senior school. In the 4th year of that, they brought in pottery, and we had a whole proper pottery studio in the school. It was really big, a massive room. It wasn't like a small room with like the wheels and massive kiln. Now, that must have cost a lot of money. I wonder where that funding came from and why they suddenly did it. Be interested to know that. And I was so good at that I told you my teacher put one of my pots that I do have here. I kept it, a tall one. It's quite a tall pot. Oh, actually, it's here. Oh, it's here. I'm not going to pick it up because I'm bound to drop it. On my other channel, I've shown all my pottery that I still have, but that's a big pot, and she put it in an art exhibition in Scotland, and I've still got the little art number on it. The they put a number on and then they write about the thing, and people didn't believe it was a school child that had made it. Steve had pottery. Maybe it was a new thing that came in, but why, when like I was the era of cutbacks and couldn't afford enough books for all the pupils. So how this came to be, I really don't know. I'd love to know about that. And then she suggested to my parents on parent evening, or when you have to make your options of what you want to take, like qualifications before you leave school, she said I should actually open up a pottery. So I must have been blooming good for her to say that. That needed to be my career. And we lived in South London, not the ideal place. And my dad said, well, you'd have to go Devon or Cornwall, South Coast, like somewhere like that. You really only got stuff here, seaside-y place. If you're going to open your own one, we're not talking factory, go and work at a factory and do it. She'd talk about handcraft and that kind of thing. And he said, what a stupid career to suggest, because that's not going to make you money to live and whatever else. But I would have to say then that's one of my best things. I was pretty good all round. RE, I always got the highest in, which is religious education. Now, my parents aren't religious at all in any shape or form. So I've been brought up church and knowing all the Bible stories and all that. But I did extremely well. Now, if you do know that I love books and stories, and obviously I took the meanings of the Bible, but to me it was like learning books and stories mostly. And we did other things because you had to do social side of it as well in the exams, like corporal punishment, capital punishment, and society, that kind of thing as well. But I always got top marks and obviously got A in that as well. So that was something I was good at, but to me, I didn't find how it could be hard if you learned everything, understood it all, knew the thoughts behind what had happened, and you had to discuss things as well. It wasn't just learning like a storybook, like literature. You just have to learn the storybooks. I wasn't interested in that though, because we did mostly Shakespeare, and give me a good story, Steve said metalwork, photography, woodwork. I would love to have done all that sort of thing. Technical drawing I would love to do, which is why I begged my parents not to send me to an all-girls high school. I wanted to learn practical stuff. I mean, can you imagine if I'd learned woodwork, I could do stuff now. So I wanted to learn technical drawing, just sounded fun. I love plans and all that. I would love to have done that. And I begged them to send me to a mixed school. Oh no. Oh no. Did that as well, says Steve. Yeah, I would love that. I like maps. I liked some parts of geography, but not other parts. It depended on what the geography was about. Steve said music lessons, learnt nothing. We didn't really have music lessons. I think we had it maybe the first year. I don't really remember. Maybe we had it the second year of high school, but it wasn't learning instruments or learning to read music. All I can remember is the old lady used to just put on records and we had to listen to them. And then while the music was playing on the record, I think it would be like Beethoven and things like that. She'd tell you what it was called, but how could you remember? And then you had to draw a picture what the music made you think of. Bless her. She must have been about 80 when we had her. So we didn't really learn anything in music. Oh, and I'm pretty sure everyone learned it. The Sorcerer's Apprentice, that bit of music, they use it in Fantasia, in the Disney Fantasia. Peter and the Wolf, and I remember that. I remember listening to those. Love to go back to school now. Everyone tells you school days are the best days of your life, and everyone says no, they're not. And then afterwards, I wouldn't say they were the best days of my life. Not at all. I detested school for many reasons, but I love to learn, which is one reason why I went to night school here to do Greek. It was like, oh, I'm going to school. And we still drive past now. It was a school that you went to in the evenings. And we drive past now and go, oh, that was my school in Cyprus. So, yeah, you do know in China, I think Japan as well, but definitely China and Japan. I might be wrong on one of those counts. But when you're a pensioner, you can go to school. I think America has something. Now, what do you call it? It's like, it's not adult education as such, but you can go, I think it's like further education you call it. I'm not sure, tell me. And you can go and learn stuff as an adult. Now, in China and or Japan, all courses in all subjects are free for pensioners, and they all go. It's like signing up to school, and you can pick how many subjects, and I'd love that. Oh, Steve's just applied for a drone mapping course. Oh, that sounds good. Are you going to do videos about that? That would be really interesting. Yeah, so as Steve said, love to go back to school. Yes and no. The only thing about school is because I did stage school as well, like after school every day and weekends, and then we had exams on Sundays or shows or whatever. So my time off of school, I was working. I was actually working in high school. That when you got homework as well, I detested having homework because I didn't have time to do it. So no, I wouldn't say to go back to school, but I would like now to be able to go to like further education for adults, not in with kids, and go like China stroke Japan, whichever one or both it is. I would like that. There are some here, which is how I did the Greek. And the Greek was degree. I got degree level. I did 3 years, but took 4 exams. The fourth one, she put me in for 2 exams the last year because the last one was translator level. So you got qualification in translation. I got certificates and everything. So there were other things you could do, and it's all free. I think the like fun subjects, like you can learn Greek dancing and things like that, I think you pay like just a donation, a basic thing. You don't pay for like a full course because there's not exams obviously in those things. Maybe I should look into what else there is. Obviously during the pandemic they weren't happening. I'll have to look at that. Maybe that might be something of interest. Obviously, if I go to learn any subjects, they're all going to be in Cypriot language, the whole thing. But yeah, if you could go and learn something now, like I wouldn't be able now to go and learn something like woodwork or those kind of things. It'd be a bit dangerous. Be a bit dangerous, but I wish I'd learnt that. I mean, Mike could show me and teach me things. It would just be too dangerous for me to do it, and I can't always take in information. So I'd never do cookery course. I know people love that. We'll go on holidays to do cookery courses. That is not for me. I get grants, I can do it in a cast. Depends on cost. Depends on cost. Wow, excellent. That's good. You can get a grant and you can do it in a cast. Yes. That would be awkward if not. Got a wheelchair you could borrow. Yes. So what would you learn if you could go back and learn? I mean, if it wasn't for my brain damage, I would like to learn how to do a game on a computer, like the whole how to do. I can't possibly learn anything like that anymore now, but that's something I would have been interested in. There wasn't computer classes when I was at school. I did actually, when I went to my disability class, a class club, you had to go once a week so they could keep their eye on you. It was kind of a respite. So your people that looked after you, I'd PR, so PA. I had a PA, public. Oh dear. See, I had a PA, personal assistant. I keep wanting to say public, a personal assistant. So it was so they could have a day off or hours off. You went there all day. You didn't have to go. You could choose to go. So if one week you didn't want to go, you didn't have to go. You didn't have to give a reason. You just went when you wanted to go. And I went once a week. You got your dinner there. Got your dinner, like proper, like school dinner it was, but they come and serve you at the table. And they brought in people to teach you crafts, and I did a lot of art there, paintings. A lot of the paintings I show you I did, that's where I did them. So they brought an artist in to help you. There was massage. You could go off to a room and have massage. I'm not allowed to have anything like that. And I can't have aromatherapy because it sends me into coma. So I didn't have those, but you could have those. What else did they do? Oh, they just did little crafts and that. So they would like crafts. You could play games. You could do what you wanted if you just wanted to sit and chat or whatever. It was to socialise. And also the staff there was 4 or 5 staff there. 2 worked in the kitchen mostly, but they came out when they weren't cooking and would chat to you. And if you needed help with benefits or situations, and their transport would come and pick you up if you wanted picking up. Sometimes I'd phone and say, yeah, I want picking up today. Sometimes I'd maybe walk there because it wasn't too far from where I live. So I've got an eyelash in my eye. I'm not winking at you. Sometimes I would walk there. It wasn't too far away. But then I might be a bit tired at the end of the day. And then I'd say, can I have the minibus back? And we did trips. We did trips with them. You could do a trip. And if you had a PA, you could bring your PA with you. Because obviously you could wander off and do your own thing. Yeah, so I did lessons there, if you like. Steve saying I used to teach carpentry at Colchester Institute. Oh, wow. Yeah, I'd like to have done things like that. Carpentry, I think, would have been one of my favourites. I'm not sure metalwork. I don't really know if I would have liked that. Yeah, carpentry, technical drawing, maybe. I don't really know a lot about it, but I like plans and design. So maybe I would have liked that. But what about actual subjects? What subjects would I like to learn now, as in academic subjects? Oh, obviously, I'm jumping back. I would like to, I did sewing. It wasn't called sewing at school. Needlework. It was called needlework. It was sewing, making clothes. You learnt to make clothes. I did learn some basic embroidery stitches there, which I forgot. And I've showed you before that little snail I made in embroidery. And that's the only embroidery. Oh, and we made a bag, a sewing bag you had to make in first year. But yeah, if I could do, maybe I would do that. I would go and do embroidery. Now, there are many places in Cyprus, particularly expat places, you can go. They're like art shops, needlework shops, British run ones, not the Cypriot run ones. And you can go in and, it's like morning coffee and do a sewing project. But they're miles away from where I live. If I lived in a town, or you've got to really be in an expat area, really, then yeah, that's something I would possibly do. You have to pay to go. That's something I would do because I want to do more embroidery. But I'm still thinking, what actual subject would I learn? What are my interests? I don't know. Steve saying worst subject at school was English and woodwork. Oh, you didn't like woodwork? Or you're just not good at it then? Because then you said you used to teach carpentry. So you must have grown to like it or got good at it, maybe. But actual subjects. As I say, it depends on the teacher. Definitely depends on the teacher. I do watch now and then on YouTube. I'm always interested in homeschooling. Now, I'd like to get a course on my laptop. I do have a few language ones on there, but I want it to be like school homeschooling where you have to do the work and send it in, like not just do it in your own time and not do it today. Maybe languages. Yes, I think I would do languages. We learnt French at school. we dabbled in German because you could only do that as a lunchtime once a week. Well, that's no good when you're learning a language, but I did do some German. Obviously, I do Greek and Cypriot. I know some basics of a lot of languages, but not to have like full conversations. Oh, I'm not sure, bad student or poor teacher, says Steve. Maybe both. I'm sure not. I'm sure not. Yeah, so maybe if I learnt subject, because language would be useful. That's the thing. There's subjects I probably still want to learn or relearn, but I feel I don't need English. I'm brilliant in English. English language, as I say, English literature, as long as it's not Shakespeare. I've done all those. I've got all the books. I'm not interested in that. But any other form, poetry I was really good at. But yeah, I think if I was to learn anything now, I think possibly another language, because that helps when we have volunteers here from all around the world. So what language, Dawn? What language would you speak? As I say, I've got basics in things like Spanish, Italian, not enough to have full, like, one-on-one, full conversations. Yeah, maybe I'd progress in Italian. Maybe that, because that's not difficult. Italian's not difficult. And I always say, if you want to speak Greek, if you're English, you just don't get the accent going right. So you always sound like an English person trying to speak another language. It's something we're not good at, is getting the accent, because the rise and fall, because English is just drone, drone, drone. There's no rise and fall in what you're saying. Whereas all other languages, there is this rise and fall. So the way I say to speak Greek to get the right rise and fall is to put on an Italian accent, like the mamma mia, and just keep that in your head while you're speaking. And when I do that, people say, "Oh, your Greek's really good. I thought you were Greek or Cypriot." Steve saying, did German night classes, learnt nothing. Night class Spanish, learnt nothing. I have just done a video on my other channel, Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty. It's the start of another series I'm doing about how to learn or study. And it's telling you all the different types of person, how they learn. And I say in that how this is why in England particularly nobody really learned well, because there was one way of learning. All teachers were taught to teach that way and everyone had to learn that way, and it doesn't work like that. I'm visual. I learn visually and hands-on, not sitting, listening, drone, hear it, repeat it, hear it, repeat it. I like visual, I like to do. So yeah, if you're interested in finding out how you learn, then that's pretty much the title of the video. It's probably 1 or 2 back now, on Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty. Yeah, Steve, I'm hands-on with the maths brain. Yeah, the puzzles. That's why you're great at puzzles. That's why you're good. Oh, should I tell you my word on the puzzle? Is studying. Studying, that's what I said. If you watch my channel, you'll know I've done a video on it. And my word, dying, add letters at the beginning of it. And the answer that I had was studying. Studying. Okay, let's go on to something I promised you today. It's not Wednesday, is it? What is it? I've forgotten what day. Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Is this. Now, when we played our game on Monday, I said, who can guess what we're playing? And I held up my magnifying glass because I have to read the words on the card. And Steve said, I Spy. And I said, oh, that's a great idea for a game that I can play on my lives. It's great. It's very hard to think of games I can play with you, particularly because I haven't got set up. I did do it one time, but I keep forgetting to do it. Set up my phone that I can use as a second camera on my lives. So I said to Steve, I'm going to pinch your idea if that's okay. We're going to play I Spy sometimes. And what's going to happen is every time we play I Spy, I will give a shout out to Steve and Tina Jewel because it was Steve's idea, I Spy. So let's say we're playing I Spy today thanks to Steve and Tina Jewel. So do go and check out Steve and Tina Jewel's channel and say that was a great idea for a game. Now, if you want to cheat, not cheat, be astute. If you want to be astute, I do have videos where I show you this room. So you can go and look at them and you can have a good look around the room. Some things may be different or not there anymore, but on the whole, things are pretty much the same. They may be on my other channel. I think they're on my other channel because there'll be declutter, clear out of this room and storage solutions, any of those sort of videos. There's at least 2 I know of where I've shown you this room, how I'm making changes, how I've reset out the room. So if you want to prep for another time, do go and have a look at those on Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty, so you'll have more of an idea. Okay, so I Spy today, and I'm going to direct with my magnifying glass where I'm going. I may be backwards to you because I'm backwards to myself. So I'm actually going to my left, which is the opposite way to where I feel I'm going. But anyway, I spy with my little eye something beginning with P. And if you've been paying attention to today's live, you will know what I'm looking at. Something beginning with P. Can anyone guess? Something I've talked about in today's live. I'm looking down here. Ooh, down here on the floor. Something beginning with P. Anyone know? I spy my little eye. Something beginning with P. Down on the floor. Yes, we talked about it today. Oh, we've got a comment. I should stay in the comments. Pen. No, it's on the floor. I know I drop things on the floor all the time, but it's not pen. It's on the floor. It's quite big. Something I said, oh, I'll show you it. Oh, no, I won't. If I pick it up, I might break it. What was it in today's live? It's quite big. It's quite heavy. Something I made. What's it made of? Oh, pot. Yes, I'll accept that. It's my pottery vase that I made. Yay, well done. I accept pot. You know what I'm talking about. Hey, well done. Let's do another one. Now, this will be easy because you might just see it. Yes, my clay, my pottery pot. Now, the next one be easy because you might be able to see it through my magnifying glass. So let's see how clever you are. I spy with my little eye something beginning with, ooh, I think you can just see me, L. Can you see it? We are the Misterons. We are the voice of the Mysterons. Needed a clue. Yes. Something begin with L. This is the voice of the Mysterons. If you don't know what Mysterons are. Lights. It's my light ring. Yes, my light ring. And we can do... Ooh, colour light rings. Disco. Disco light rings. Ooh. Ooh. Do you like my light ring? It's only one. I think it might be reflecting as two. Oh, I don't know if you can see all the different phases it's going through. Yay, partay. Your turn. All right, your turn, Steve. Your turn. Steve's having a turn. Steve spies with his little eyes something beginning with M. Ooh, M. I don't even know what room you're in. Do we have a clue what room you're in, or will that not help? M. Music. Music player. Magazine. Magnifying glass. You can see my magnifying glass. A Muppet. I have seen. Something you have seen. Something you have seen. Are you talking about on my live or in your room? Oh, not today. Good grief. Good grief. Something you've seen but not today. The Mist. Something you've seen but not today. Interesting. A map. Something you've seen but not today. The MRI machine. The MRI machine. Did you saw the MRI machine? Need a clue? I think so. Need a clue. This is actually better this way round. Yes, the MRI machine. The clue would be where. No, I'm your live. In my live. In my live. Something you've seen in my live. Beginning with M. You don't see much. A magnifying glass. Something you've seen but not today. Something I've shown you. Is it something I've shown you? Are you saying it's something I've shown you? Coffee roaster clue? Coffee roaster. Is it Mike? Is it Mike? Is it Mike? Coffee roaster. Coffee roaster clue. It's Mike. Coffee roaster. I'm really confused. I'm really confused. Mike, that's all I can think of. Yeah, is it Mike? Is it Mike? Is that, yes, it's Mike. Put Mike if it is Mike. Yes, yay! Yay! That was hard. This is for me and you for being clever. That was really good, Steve. That was really fun. If any of you are watching this back later and you got that, do put it in the comments. Do put it in the comments if you got it with Mike. Yeah, the not today. I was like, something you have seen but not today. Question is, Steve, will you ever see him again live? Should have left you guessing. I wasn't sure at first what I was guessing. I thought at first it was something you could see in your room. Then I got, no, it's something to do with here. And then something you've seen on my live. I'm like, I don't show many things. And anything I show, I couldn't begin with them. Coffee roaster. Very good. Got it. Very good. That's very good. Okay, you've worn my little brain out now. So I'm going to finish there today. That was so much fun. I think when we play again, I Spy, I think you should take a turn. But give me a clue where I'm looking, whether it's in mine or in yours. That's why I guessed MRI, because you said something you'd seen, but not today. So, yeah, I need a better perspective of whether it's in this way in your screen or what you can see in your home. That was great fun. Great fun. Okay, I'm going to finish then. I will be back on Friday earlier than this on Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty on Friday, or I'll see you here again on Monday. Until then, as always, thanks Steve for that. Until then, as always, Meraki.